Hello, hello, hello. We are live on day 3 of our Reclaim Your Life Challenge. And I am Coach Veronica of theveronicamichelle.com, your success strategist here to make sure that you are ready to reclaim your life, put yourself as a priority, and truly start to create your own reality in the life that we are living. So I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to jump on. When you're jumping on, drop in there who you are and where you're from so that we can do a quick recap before we get started, and then we can see who's hanging out with us. So I'll leave up here that we are on day 3 of our Reclaim Your Life challenge. It's a 5-day challenge that we've been doing since July 1st. So some of you were with me when we started on Saturday. Even though this is the holiday week, we are committing to ourselves and moving forward to reclaim our lives as our own. So as you are jumping on, let me know who's hanging out with me. If you are catching the replay of this, or you got this in your email and are catching the replay, still feel free to email me and let me know that you saw it. All you have to do is click reply in your email, and I'll know that you were on. I'll know that you caught the information, and then we can even chat about how you're using it or how you need support to use it. So make sure that you let me know that you are with us, that you saw the video. I'm trying to make sure we have good lighting. So let me know if you can't see me, if it's too dark when you're jumping on, let me know. So again, we are in day 3. We have done, day 1 was focusing on our truth and recognizing our worth so that we can go confidently and be committed to our truth. And we recapped yesterday on what that looks like. So if you missed it, grab that video out of the group or check your email. Everyone got it in their email that registered for our 3-day training. So go ahead and check that out if you need a refresher on that. In day 2, we talked about the limitations and how we can be held hostage, how our dreams can be held hostage, how our lives can be held hostage around the fear and the self-doubt and the limiting behaviors and thoughts that we carry for ourselves, whether it come from our past or our current situations. Those things impact how we move forward. And I'm just adjusting us to make sure you can see me, how we move forward. So that was day 2. And I wanted to make sure we did a recap for those of you who are jumping on day 3, haven't had the chance to do our replays of day 1 or day 2. I want to make sure you know where we are before we get into today. So today we are going to talk all about gaining the confidence to see yourself as a priority. And it's very important for us as women and as the nurturers and as the givers to recognize that it's okay and it's not selfish for you to give to yourself as well. Because as we shared, it's very hard for you to give something that you don't know you have. And it's even harder for you to give to those who really need to see you show up in the world and who are really here to be impacted by your gift if you've given it all out, right? So we need to make sure that we are okay and confident with being a priority in our own lives, just as much as our children, our jobs, our spouses, our significant others, our friends. All of those people are important to us and we give them the best of us. But we want to make sure that we also see ourselves in the equation and giving ourselves that same priority that we give to everyone else. So today's focus is going to be on gaining the confidence for you to be able to see yourself as a priority. And so if you notice, day 1 was talking about your worth and recognizing your worth and being committed to that truth, whatever your truth is. Day 2 was all about the limitations and how our limitations hold our dreams hostage. Today is about being that priority so that you know that you're worth it, right? And you know what you desire for yourself from day 1. Day 2, you know what's standing in your way and how it's holding you hostage. And in day 3, we can build that confidence for you to be able to see yourself as a priority in moving forward. So all of this is building on itself to make sure that if you decide that you want us to work together in a one-on-one or group setting, that you're able to work through all of the steps because you have a foundation. So this is your jump start to make sure that you're ready when we all get together in our 6-week program, which is going to be starting actually July 16th. We're going to be starting our Live Fierce 6-week programs. And I'll give you more information about that later on in our challenge. So today we are talking all about gaining the confidence to be your own priority. And so I wanted to ask you, let me make sure that we haven't missed anyone's comments, because I did tell you to post comments. So let me go and check and see if we have any comments that I need to share. Let's see. Don't see anything yet. So I'll keep checking to make sure that I don't miss anything that you're saying. And again, if you're catching the replay, feel free to comment and just send an email or post in the group, in the Live in Action group that this is broadcasting in. You can post right there in the group, and then I'll comment back and forth with you. I want to make sure that you are getting the help and the support that you need. So that brings me to the question that I wanted to start today with, and it's, what supports do you need to take control of the direction of your life? And so if you are a priority, then it's easier for you to recognize yourself as someone who needs the supports and someone who needs to find the direction so that you can move your life from where it is now to where you know you want it to be. Even if along the way things shift and things change, you're able to move it along the way because you know that you are a priority and that what you desire and what you need is just as important as what anyone else desires or what anyone else needs. Right. And so yesterday we talked about making sure that you recognize that your truth, what feels right to you, what resonates in your spirit in a situation, is given consideration. Right, that you give yourself the consideration to say, this feels right to me or this doesn't feel right to me. And that is knowing what your truth is. And then being able to say, any limitation that may be in my way, I'm going to figure out a way to remove it. Okay. And so today we're going to talk about what that looks like for you to gain that confidence. And a part of gaining that confidence is creating a plan for how you're going to be your own priority. And if you looked at our handout from yesterday, we had the Live Fierce toolkit that I put in the group yesterday, in yesterday's day 2's follow-up. If you look in day 2's follow-up, we talked about mapping out the things that you want to see in your life. And I think we only did 3 things that you want to see. And then we also talked about what needs to change in order for that to happen. And so if you are confident in knowing that you are worth going after what you desire, and that your truth is that you desire more in your life than where you are and what you're doing at this time, then it makes it easier for you to take all of those obstacles and limitations that we talked about yesterday, whether it be an internal or an external factor. You'll be able to reframe how you see those obstacles. And we'll talk about that later on as a step, but you'll be able to immediately recognize that this is not a limitation that can't be overcome, because it just requires you to create a plan. And so if you see yourself as a priority, and if you see yourself as being a part of the equation, not just everybody that you take care of, right? Because let's be honest, we see the need to take care of everybody. And we see the need to be supportive of everybody. But when it comes down to you, at the end of the day, there's still things that are unfulfilled. And I don't know if we learned that as a little girl, watching our parents and what our mothers and aunts and grandmothers do for everyone else, or if we learned that through our growing up, that we believe that we should be supportive because that's what the female role is, to be a nurturer. But you also have to be a nurturer to yourself. And so that's what today is about. It's about figuring out the direction that you need to go to be a nurturer for yourself. And so how do you do that? How do you find the supports? How, in this challenge, we've been given action steps. We've been given things that are going to help support you in reclaiming your life. And we started on day 1 with you doing the journaling and recognizing. I listed 7 questions in our day 1 follow-up that went to your email, and it's also posted in the group. Those questions are very important for you to figure out what feels right to you. And then yesterday we talked about taking the action step of filling out the Live Fierce toolkit. And that gives you an opportunity to know what it is that you want and figure out what needs to change in order for you to make that happen. What do you need to commit to in order for you to make that happen? And in order for you to be a priority to yourself, there are certain things that need to happen as well. So the question in how do you do that? The way that you would do that is to be considerate of your own life choices. Give me one second. Your own life choices, and also the impact that others' life choices have on you, and making sure that you aren't doing anything or being in any position, right, where you don't keep yourself at top of mind. So let's give an example. You may be in a situation where you do something at work and you're working in a team, but you know that there are parts of that team that's not working for you. You want to make sure that you're still in the forefront and that you're still acting and behaving in the way that's going to move you in the direction that you want to go in your job. Same thing in your relationship. A relationship takes 2 people, but you also want to make sure that you are considered and your desires are considered and you're heard, your voice is heard in the direction that you're moving. Same thing with your children. It takes parents to raise children, and you're in that reciprocal relationship where you're raising them and you want them to grow up and be the person that you want them to be. But you also have to make sure that your desires and your values are being promoted in that space as well. So how do we do that? And I want to give you 3 tips that are going to help you with that. And then our action step for today, which is day 3, on how do you put yourself in the forefront in being a priority. So the first thing that you want to do, as I mentioned earlier, is to reframe the obstacles, right? So we want to make sure that things that look like limitations that are keeping us from moving in the direction that we want to go, or even considering the dreams that we once had or dreaming at all, you want to reframe how you view them. And we talked on Saturday, the first day we were together, we talked about how you can allow the negative thoughts and the limiting beliefs to hold you hostage and keep you from really dreaming or even really considering. And yesterday we talked about fear being your best friend and your worst enemy, because yes, it can keep you from things that are harmful, but at the same time, it also can keep you from moving forward into things that may be a blessing to you or maybe a new experience to you. And so you want to make sure that you open yourself up to having those adventures and those desires of your heart. And that's by you first starting with reframing those obstacles so that you see yourself as a priority in those obstacles, right? So if you're a priority in the obstacle at work, or you're a priority in your relationship, or you're a priority in any area of your life, then you start to create plans and action steps that are going to allow you to be at the center, right? So you will still be at the center of every decision that you make, instead of doing things that work for others but don't really work for you. So you want to make sure that you look at how can you reframe and retrain your mind and how you're thinking about a situation, because our mindset really does impact, right? It really does impact the way that we process things and the way that we take action in things. And so if your mindset is that it's never going to happen, as we talked about on day 1, that things aren't going to happen for you because you aren't worthy of certain things, or that you doubt that you could have something that you see other people with, or a lifestyle that you desire, then you won't take the action to go after it, because that fear will keep you in a space of complacency and keep you where you're discomfortable, right? Because I always say you're uncomfortable in your discomfort, and you'll just stay there because it's familiar and it's easy. And so we want to make sure that we reframe how we view an obstacle so that we're able to really start to see ourselves as a priority in that situation. In every situation, reframe how you view it, right? That's going to give you the opportunity to stay as a priority in every situation and make a decision on how you're going to act and how you're going to move in that decision. Let's see. The next thing that's really important for you to do, and it's one that I've struggled with, and I shared some pieces of my journal with you yesterday. If you caught the replay, let me know what you thought. But I shared some pieces of that in talking about not feeling like there was the support that was necessary for me to move forward. And that's not always the truth, but that's sometimes what we believe, because that's what we tell ourselves, right? And so if we tell ourselves a certain thing, then in every situation, that's what you see. And so the second thing of the 3 tips that I'll give you on how to gain the confidence to put yourself as a priority is to enlist the supports of others. Enlist the supports of the people that you support, right? Because you've helped them, so now they can help you. And that's whether it be in a financial situation, whether it be in a babysitting situation, whether it be in just a tug on the ear so that you can express what you're going through, what you're thinking, whether it be somebody that can give you just a recreational outlet so that you can just kind of really be free. Whatever it is, enlist the supports, and don't close yourself off feeling like you're not enough of a priority for them to be able to support you. Right? So be open to enlisting the supports of others, especially those who are willing and able to help you, and also those who you've helped. Because we always forget to go back to those who kind of owe us something and say, hey, would you mind watching the children for an hour so that I can go get a massage, or so that I can just sit and journal and do that practice of getting some time and space to myself, and asking your spouse to be more hands-on at home, or asking a coworker to do their part within a work program, right? And then another thing that you want to make sure that you do, the third thing, is that you want to budget for your own happiness. And this is so huge. It's so huge that you budget for your own happiness. And that's not just in finances. I know people always think when you hear the word budget that you're talking about money. It's not just in money. It's about your time. It's about your resources. It's about the mental space where you're allowing your mind to go. That needs to you need to give yourself a priority in what you think about yourself, what you think about your life, what you think about what you want to do. Every day that you get up, you should ask yourself, what do I need today? That's another tip. What do I need for me? For me to be the woman that I want the world to see, what do I need today? Right? And start your day off with that when you're journaling and when you're meditating and asking that question, what do I need today to show up as the woman that I want to be? Right. And so then you start to budget your time because you're giving yourself that mental space and that time to journal and to meditate and to just be prepared with a plan on how you're going to go through the day. And that gives you more of an opportunity to be a priority in your own life. And when we talk about budgeting your time, some of us are so overwhelmed. I know that I have been so overwhelmed with everything that needs to happen for everyone else. You serve on committees, you're helping out at work, you're helping family members, you may be in a sorority like me, you may be doing all kinds of other things. And then at the end of the day, you only get 24 hours, right? So what are you going to do with those 24 hours that serves you? And isn't always about serving others. And there's nothing wrong with volunteering. It's nothing wrong with being a person who likes to help others. But you also want to make sure that there is time budgeted in there for you, for your own self-care, for your own mental stimulation, mental relaxation, all of that needs to happen for you to show up fully in your purpose and your truth as the woman that you desire to be. And when we talk about budgeting your financial resources, don't pay everything for everybody else and not give yourself a dollar to say, I want to invest in coaching, or I want to take a program, or I want to go here or travel there or go see this. Don't budget all of your money out to everyone else and everything else, including bills, including relatives, including shopping, including eating, all of those things that we give all our money to, and we don't give a dollar to ourselves to say, I really want to travel to this place. It's not going to be free. Let's be realistic. It's not going to be free. So we want to make sure that we budget every area of our lives, whether it just be giving yourself that direction, whether you have the resource for it or you're setting aside for that. Make sure that you're budgeting in there to include you, because these are the things that are going to really make you see yourself as a priority, reframing the way that those obstacles look to you so that you see yourself in it and you see how I'm going to be in the top of this. I'm going to make sure it works for me. I'm a priority in this situation and I'm going to make sure it works for me. You enlist the support of those who are around you so that you can make sure that they are supporting and helping you just as much as you're supporting and helping them and everyone else. And then you budget your resources, whether it be your time, your money, your mental space, whatever it is, you budget it to where it looks like it's best for you. I'm a priority in the money that I make. So what do I really want to do with it? Of course, we know we have to pay bills. We know we have to do all of these things. We have to eat. We have to pay rent. We have to do all of that. But for me, what's a priority to me? And this goes back to day one of what is your truth. If you're like me and your truth is that you want to have freedom, and that you want to be able to travel and go wherever you want to go, that takes money. So I have to be a priority in how I budget my resources so that I can have the time and I can have the money to travel when and how I want to. And it may not be that you can do it all the day you want to do it, but by putting yourself as a priority, you start to create a plan, which we're going to do tomorrow. Each one of you, I'm going to create a 6-step action plan with you. And we're going to be in an interactive space where you can ask questions and I'll give you the coaching support that you need. Even before we get into our 6-week program, this challenge is offering you the opportunity to work with someone who is doing it and has done it and can give you the direction. So that's the 3 things that are going to really help you to be successful with putting yourself in a space as a priority. And each day of this week, we've had an action step that you were challenged to do. So day 1, you were challenged to start journaling and to utilize that practice throughout the 5 days. And we gave you some journaling prompts to do that. And then day 2, you were provided with the Live Fierce handout that's over in the group, and it's in your email as well, for you to figure out what do you want to see in your life and what needs to change. And it's very important that you do those 2 practices because they create the foundation for you, right? And so today, our day 3 action step is for you to create a virtual vision board. right? And you can go on to any Google site. You can pull any pictures that showcase the life that you want to have, the business that you want to have, how you want to see yourself, your relationship, your children, the colors that you like, the weather that you like, whatever it is that really inspires you to remain a priority and to remain at the top of your own agenda. Right? So don't have an agenda that includes everything for everyone else and doesn't include anything for you. That's the one thing I want you to take away from this 5-day challenge is that if you are truly reclaiming your life as your own, you have to start seeing yourself as a priority. And that means you have to know what your truth really is, right? And you have to work from a heart space that says, this is right to me. And then you also have to be willing to engage in the practices and get the support that's going to help you to be a priority. Right? To stay a priority, because this 5 days is going to be great. And you're going to do amazing things with what you have if you utilize the tools that are there. There are women who we've worked with who are doing amazing things in their lives, and including me, because I'm in a coaching program and I've been coached before. And so it really takes you to reframe those obstacles, because some of those obstacles can be internal. It could be your own negative self-talk that's an obstacle that's keeping you from moving forward, as we talked about yesterday. But if you reframe how those obstacles look and you say your I am affirmations that we talked about in day 1, I am worthy of this. I am capable of this. I deserve the desires of my heart, right? If you know that you truly are a priority, then you look at all of the obstacles and situations differently. So your challenge for today in day 3 is for you to create a listen, I can't speak at all. A virtual vision board. There we go. A virtual vision board. And there's a tool that you can use on your desktop or your laptop. It's Canva, CANVA.com. And I'll add it up here for you. And you can go to Canva. It's a free resource that I utilize. I utilize it for business as well as personal. And I'll put it up here for you. It's Canva.com. Okay. So you'll have that as a tool. You can go over to Canva.com. And I'm going to put it up on the screen here so that if you're catching the replay, you'll be able to see it and go over. But Canva, CANVA.com, is an opportunity for you to create graphics and utilize their layouts. And you can just create a blank graphic and pull your pictures over, right? You save your pictures to your computer, upload them to Canva, and pull them over into your vision board, however you want to do it. And then maybe I'll show you mine tomorrow. I'll pull it up for you tomorrow. But when you're doing that, right, because now we have started the journaling practice and we're free writing and we're recognizing what we really want and what we don't want, right? Because we're walking in our truth at this point. We've recognized that what feels right in our heart is the truth, right? It's our truth. And then we've also been in the practice of recognizing where our own limitations come from, whether it be external or internal, right? So now we're at a point where we know we want to be a priority. We know some things that are going to help us to see ourselves as a priority. And all we need to do is to take what we hear ourselves saying and what we're writing down, and now we're going to make it a visual. So we're going to create a virtual vision board and put that onto Canva. And if you want to do a hard copy tangible vision board, then feel free to do that. Cut it out of the magazine and put your words and your pictures. But I want you to be able to see and remind yourself. And if you do a virtual vision board of places you want to travel, food you want to eat, how you want your relationship to be, what you want to look like, what you want your hairstyle to look like, just whatever you want to do, a piece of jewelry that you love, car you want to drive, whatever it is that you want, you can then take that virtual vision board and save it to your phone and be able to see it, or save it to your desktop screen and see it whenever you open your computer or whenever you get your phone. And that's going to help you to remind yourself why you need to be a priority. Because as long as you know why, right, it's easier for you to stay in the practices that we've been talking about throughout these 3 days. And we have 2 more days left of our 5-day Reclaim Your Life Challenge. I hope that this information is useful to you. And even if you're catching this later after our 5-day challenge, feel free to hit reply and email me if you need support or if you're ready to join us in our 6-week program that's going to start on July 16th. So I told you that I would give you some information on how you would be able to get the supports that you need for us to work together and help you to move from the space of knowing that you want something different and actually navigating that life and going after it. And the way that you can do that immediately, right? Because we're in a space of taking action right where we are. And so we've done some work and we've had some conversations and you've listened to me talk to you. But now I'm talking about how you're really going to be able to put this whole thing into practice, right? We want to make sure that we put this whole thing into practice. And so the way that we're doing that, I want to make sure I get this up here for you. Okay. So the way that we are doing that right now is we are working on a 6-week, starting July the 16th is when we have it set to begin, is July the 16th, which is 2 weeks from now. We are going to be in our Live Fierce 6-week group program. That's going to be starting on July the 16th. And so everyone who has been a part of this challenge is going to get an email from me, and it's going to offer you a bonus, and it's also going to offer you a discount on how we can work together. But I want to make sure that while you're on here and you're all fired up about being a priority for yourself, that you recognize that there is an opportunity for you to work together with me in a group setting. And if you desire a one-on-one setting, we also have that as well. But for us to work together to get you to a point where we're going from the work to the action, right? Because this here is the work. We're doing the work, right? And when we work together in 6 weeks, we have 6 whole weeks mapped out where you're able to be in a group setting. And then there's also one-on-one time that we can work on building your action plan. And then you taking those steps and implementing and coming back to me for accountability, because that's a piece we talked about yesterday, needing to make sure that there's accountability for you to actually show up and do the work and live the life that you say you want to live, and for you to navigate that life with the supports that are there. So if you're interested in finding out more about our 6-week program, I'll be talking more about it tomorrow as we move into day 5. But if you're interested in seeing how you can work with me, you can go over to this link I'm going to post here. Let me go down and make sure you get that link. Yes. So for our Live Fierce 6-week group program, that's what's starting on July 16th. And if you're interested in figuring out what works for you, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's a self-study where you're working on your own, or whether you'd like to be in our group program that's about to begin in 2 weeks, you can go over to bit.ly/living fierce. And so you came over to Living Fierce Reset to get to this challenge. But if you go over to Living Fierce, bit.ly/living fierce, then you'll be able to find all of the programs that I offer and ways that we can work together. And it'll give you a full description of everything that we'll do in that program, what you'll get and what bonuses you'll get. And there's some additional things that I'm offering just for the people who were signed up for our challenge. So even if you're catching a replay, you won't miss the bonuses if you decide to join us in our 6-week group program. Okay, and so I want to recap for you just to go over the how-to. I want to make sure that we go over the how-to. And I'll leave the link up there in case you are going over to bit.ly/living fierce while we're talking. So the first thing you want to do in order to see yourself as a priority, to gain the confidence to be a priority, because sometimes we're not confident. We feel guilty that we are becoming a priority. We feel guilty that we're thinking about the things that we desire more than other people's desires for us or what we want for them. So the way that you remove that guilt is to reframe the obstacles, reframe the way that you view that as an obstacle, and make sure that if you see yourself in the center of it and that you're a priority in what is happening, then you'll be able to create different action steps that leave you in the forefront, right? Because we want to be in the driver's seat of our lives. And then number 2 is to enlist the supports that you need to move forward. And so look back at the people that you've supported, look around at the people who can help you. And if you need to create another circle, we talked yesterday about needing to change direction and getting rid of what doesn't serve us and creating what does serve us, going after what does serve us. So that's another thing in enlisting the support. Sometimes it may not be there, but there's always support somewhere that you can go and find in a different circle. And then the third thing we talked about was budgeting for your own happiness in time, in resources, in mental space, in all of those things. Budget for your own happiness so that you can be able to be a priority and use those resources to your advantage. Okay? So again, I know we are at about 30 minutes. So yesterday we were a little bit longer. So I'm glad that I'm not keeping you too long because I know we're all super busy and we want to make sure we get this information and get in and get out. So remember that your challenge for day 3 is for you to create your virtual action board, your vision board. I'm sorry, not your action board. We're going to take action tomorrow, but we want to create our virtual vision board. And so go on Google and pull pictures. If you have pictures already of places and things you want to go, Pinterest is a great place where you can store all kinds of everything. If you want to create a Pinterest board with your all of the things that you desire for yourself, places to go, how you want to look, what you want to wear, all of that, then create it there as well. But make sure that you take this action step and that you're continuing to journal, which was our day one action step, and that you're continuing to complete the handout, the Live Fierce toolkit if you haven't done so, and then creating your vision board. And if you aren't doing these day 1, day 2, day 3, don't worry. As long as you are doing them, you are giving yourself that permission that we talked about on day 1 to really walk in your truth and figure out what you want for your life. So I am Coach Veronica of TheVeronicaMichelle.com. I am your success strategist. I am here to make sure that you are living fierce, that you are at the head of your life, you're at the center of your life, and that you are added back into the equation and getting exactly what you desire for yourself. And so if you are ready to figure out where you fit in this whole thing and how you can get the support that you desire, go on over to bit.ly/living fierce and check out how you can work together, how we can work together. And that our 6-week program now is starting on July the 16th. So if you want to be a part of that, go over and look and see. But there's some other ways that we can work together if group is not for you. But I want you to consider being a priority for yourself and knowing that the supports are there if you give yourself permission to utilize the resources and the support that's there to help you get to where you want to be. So I'm going to leave you today and let you know that we are back here tomorrow for day 4, which is going to be the act part, right? So we're going to start going over the action plan tomorrow because day 5 is navigating. And so in day 4, we're going to create your action plan. So make sure you're here to create your action plan and get the support that you need in moving your life forward. Okay? So I will see you right here in our Facebook group tomorrow at 7 p.m. And I'm going to move around to a different setting because no one really let me know whether it was too dark or not. So if you catch the replay and you think it's too dark, we won't be in this setting tomorrow. I'm going to shift around. I've been doing different settings to see which one works best. So we were outside. We were in another area in the house. Now we're in this area in the house. So we're going to probably shift somewhere tomorrow and make sure we have the best setting to give you what you need. So I hope this has been useful for you. Going over to bit.ly/living fierce. Check out our 6-week program, the Living Fierce 6-week group program that's coming up on July the 16th. And then if you desire, shoot me an email and let's talk about how we can work together. If there's something that you desire that you don't see, something that you need that you don't see, shoot me an email. And then all you have to do actually is hit the reply to the email I sent you. And then you can communicate with me or post in the group because maybe there's someone else who desires the same thing that you desire. Okay, so I will see you right here tomorrow at 7 p.m. as we move on to day 4 of our 5-day Reclaim Your Life Challenge. I'll see you tomorrow.